Hi and welcome to my review of the eachine H8 mini quadcopter. It runs on a 150 milliamp hour 3.7 volt single cell LiPo battery. The controller needs 3 AAA batteries to run, which don't come supplied, so you'll need to supply those yourself. The quadcopter comes supplied with a few spares. Unfortunately, only 2 props. I find that a little bit cheap. Most quadcopters come with a complete set of props, but this only comes with 2. It does come with some sort of rubberized self-adhesive feet, which you can put on the bottom part of the engine mounts, motor mounts, which I haven't done, and I probably won't bother. I mean, that gives you sufficient clearance to actually hold it off the ground, so that's absolutely fine. Comes with the screwdriver to undo the screw that comes in the back of the battery compartment, and it also comes with the battery charger. The battery out of the box took about 20 minutes to load, but after the first flight, I've had 1 flight with it so far. After that first flight, it was about 40 minutes to charge. It also comes supplied with the manual, which is in Chinese and also in English, of course. The strange thing about this is that the manual is actually slightly misleading, in that that's the nose end of the quadcopter. You can tell by the diagram that you see there, and it lists the A and the B rotors as being the wrong way round. The A and the B is actually there and there. It's not a major issue, but obviously just be aware of that when you come to put the props on. What you'd normally do really is just make sure you put the correct orientation prop on the correct motor. Other than that, everything's explained on there reasonably well. Now the rates are controlled by this control here. It gives you low and high rates. Low rates is pretty much intermediate rates on any other quadcopters. So, right, we'll get a flight and I'll talk you through some of the aspects of the flight characteristics, etc. Now I've found that the best way to bind this is to plug the quadcopter in first. Make sure the plug goes right the way in, and then turn the controller on, and it will then bind. It's quite unusual. Normally you'd turn the controller on first, but hey ho, there we go. Right, let's do a little flight with this. It's very quiet. It's actually one of the quietest ones I've heard, I think, of this sort of size. It's yeah, very quiet. Right, it's going to need a little bit of trimming. I've had to do this a couple of times, actually re-trim it, so very responsive. Now I think this is low rates. I'll check it again in a moment. And that's the yaw rate. As you see, that's pretty quick. Whoops. So let's just try that. So that's what I believe to be low rates. Oh, so I'm just a bit more trimming, I think, to the right. Let's have a little look. It's actually very stable. I mean, like, once you get the, whoops, he says, now the prop guards that you see on that aren't removable, they're part of the body itself, and with a heavy crash they can get distorted and then start to snag on the prop, so you have to make sure that if you do crash it, that you've got clearance. Right, let's try. Yep, now this is high rates. Look at that rate there, look at that yaw rate. It does make it very easy though to oversteer. So for indoor use, probably the low rates, which as I say is kind of an intermediate rate for most quadcopters anyway. That's far from benign. That's actually pretty responsive. Flips are done with this button here, so press the button and then turn the direction that you want to flip. So try again, to the left. And I've just realised I've forgotten to time this, so I'll have to get that off of the video, the flight time off of the video. Flips are very good, nice tight flips, quick recovery. Yep, very good flips on those. Now headless mode, I believe, is on the left hand stick, press down. You get that beep to let you know that you're in headless mode, and the return to home is simply pulling back on the stick. Right, come out of headless mode. Headless mode doesn't always work properly because it depends on the orientation that you set the headless mode up on, which should be the orientation that it launches, but just then it seemed to go out a little bit and the orientation changed during the course of that short portion of flight. So that's one of the reasons I never ever use it. It just adds confusion in my book. The best way to learn to fly these is to learn to orientate them properly. Now there's a button on the top of the controller. I'm not actually sure what that is. I don't think it does anything. That one there. Does it turn the lights? Nope, doesn't do anything. I think it's a dummy switch. Let's see if we can do some funnels. Yeah, some tight little funnels there. But as is often the case, got to be careful you don't run into stuff. And that's the problem with the fast fuel rate. Very easy to lose orientation. When you've got a bit more space, not a problem. Just in a restricted space like this, it can be a bit of an issue. Whoop, lost sight. Well, let's just do a little test on those prop guards, shall we? Okay. Yeah, that seems to work alright. Over on this side. Yeah, they'll handle a casual tap, but anything a little bit stronger than that, and they'll struggle. Right, okay, I did see the low battery warning come up on that. Right, so that's pretty much it really. It's a nice stable flyer, nice and responsive. Just turn that off. It's light, so it's not going to do a lot of damage if you do run into things indoors, so it's an ideal indoor flyer. I'm not too sure how it would be outside if you've got any sort of a breeze though, so I certainly wouldn't be flying this in anything but the lightest of breezes. But otherwise, yeah, nice little flyer. Should give you lots of fun. Thank you very much for watching.